Good morning again. Just Christina Forbes here, wife of seriously injured worker Lauren Forbes, continuing on with my little series that has to do with permanent functional evaluation and the Disabilities Awards. So, in her conclusions, she wrote that this assessment has been confirmed that there is a significant measurable degree of permanent impairment of function with regards to both upper and to both right upper and left upper extremities. Range of motion measurements appear to be more reliable during this examination compared with the 2006 examination. The worker's overall difficulties and symptoms are well compatible with upper extremity injuries, demonstrating that they are requiring more specialized or additional award consideration. I would be prepared to accept the results of this permanent functional impairment evaluation as an accurate representation of the current level of impairment. So, impairment of the right upper extremity based on reduced range of motion equals 16.23%. This consists of the right hand impairment of 1.20%, the right wrist at 6.68%, and the right forearm at 1.36%, and the right elbow at 6.99%. The left upper extremity impairment based on reduced range of motion equals 6.76%. This consists of the left thumb impairment award at 3.34%, the left wrist at 2.60%, and no impairment noted in the left forearm and the left elbow equals 0.82%. The percentages set out in the Permanent Disabilities Evaluation Schedule represent the loss occurring when a disability exists alone in an otherwise healthy limb or body. When a disability exists alongside another disability in the same part or another part of the body, adjustments may have to be made. Where the sum of the scheduled percentages allocated to several disabilities exceed their actual combined effect, this is where it gets really good. A downward adjustment is required, and this is known as a devaluation. So now they're devaluating your injury. Well, we figure that you're entitled to this, but because it equals more than what we feel you're entitled to anyways, we're going to devaluate you anyways. So yeah, there it is. Oh, sorry, pardon me. Let me just there we go. So sorry, I'm just going to focus in on that there. Known as devaluation. There we go. Okay, so we're going to hear that word a couple more times. In the circumstances of this claim, I consider the worker's disability in his right and left upper extremities meet the requirement of existing alongside another disability in the same part of the body. I conclude that the sum of the individual disabilities will exceed the combined effect and therefore have applied devaluation to calculate impairment with reference to the right wrist, right forearm, and right elbow, which is the next higher or proximal joint in the affected limb. Therefore, accordance to policy item number 3913 of the RSCM Volume 2, devaluation has been applied to the right upper extremity of 16.23%, reducing it to 15.7%. This policy also applies to the impairment with reference to the left wrist, left forearm, and left elbow, which is the next higher or proximal joint in the affected limb. Devaluation has been applied to this award of 6.76%, reducing it to 6.57%. Overall impairment now just equals 21.64%. The combined effect of two separate disabilities may be greater than the separate effect of each. Therefore, when a worker has an additional disability which pre-existed the injury or the injury causes more than one disability, the board may, in certain circumstances or certain situations, increase the overall percentage of disability that would otherwise be awarded. This is known as the enhancement factor. An enhancement factor of 50% of the lesser disability may be added to the total of percentages awarded for each separate disability. As the lesser disability is the left upper extremity at 6.57%, 50% of this figure equals 3.28%, which will be added to the overall award in accordance with policy number 39.12, increasing the award overall now to 24.92%. It has also recognized that Mr. Forbes has ongoing subjective pain complaints regarding the area of impairment, and the claim has been accepted responsibility for chronic pain. Policy item number 39.2 of the RSCM Volume 2 outlines that when a worker has specific chronic pain that is consistent with, they kind of did a little bit of typo here, so I'm just going to correct it here, consisted with the associated compensable physical impairment, the Section 23.1, functional award will be considered to appropriately compensate the worker for the impact of the chronic pain. Pain is considered to be consistent with the pain is considered to be consistent with the associated compensable impairment when the pain is limited to the area of impairment or medical evidence indicates the pain is an anticipated consequence of physical impairment. So a whole lot of yada yada, yada yada yada. In the cases of additional award for specific chronic pain. Okay. In these cases, now you've been accepted for chronic pain. That's great, right? You should get entitled to it. We only pay 2.5% for chronic pain. We all know that. So, in these cases, an additional award for specific chronic pain will not be provided. Will not be provided, as it would result in the worker being compensated twice for the impact of the pain. And I find that Mr. Forbes' ongoing complaints are not disproportionate to the associated objective physical findings, and therefore no additional award is indicated. Dr. Bland has also advised that the pain as reported and demonstrated seems excessive for the original diagnosis, but is consistent with chronic pain syndrome. It should also be noted that the ranges of motion measurements have been impacted by the chronic pain syndrome and therefore do not warrant a separate and additional award. Okay. So, policy item 39.10 of the RSCM allows consideration of other variables relating to the degree of physical impairment, and it appears that the worker's motor strength is likely reduced. However, this is thought to be secondary to disuse and once again is attributed to a chronic pain component. I have reviewed the worker's ongoing subjective complaints and symptoms and find them to be consistent with the objective findings under this policy, and no further award will be considered. So that's where that sits. So what you do is they put down, administrative data, and that's just kind of like appeal decision, reopening a date, blah, blah, blah. So kind of go over this here. So now this is where it shows, you do actually, if you are currently getting CPP, stop all payments, as you will be paying all of that money back with your pension money. So effective date, we all know that it September 4th, 2006, termination age 65, blah, 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 blah. So number 10, it says recoveries. Please deduct any benefits paid after the effective date of this award. This would be applied to any additional wage loss entitlement and vocational rehabilitation entitlement. Number 10, CPP deduction. No. Because why? Lauren never took it out. And he never really actually paid enough into it. CPP deduction. There you go. There you see it. If you are currently on CPP, going through all the bullshit that is WorkSafeBC and workers' compensation, you will be paying every penny back. I'm so sorry. On top of any vocational rehabilitation payments that you are currently receiving until the entitlement of your pension. So, says determination. In cases where the combined effects of the occupation and the effects of the disability are so exceptional, there's that special little phrase again, so exceptional, that an amount determined by the functional method would not appropriately compensate the injury, a worker may be assessed for loss of earnings award under Section 23.3 of the Act. The claims adjudicator in disability awards is in the process of completing this investigation. When completed, the worker will be advised by way of separate decision letter on this matter. So, this file has been referred to the computation section for calculation of the functional award. So, so exceptional. So let's overlook a couple of things here as we get on to actually part 5 of the video, and we'll kind of sum everything up in video 5. But we're running close here to the 10-minute mark, so I just want to stop that before I get into that whole so exceptional thing again in the Act and loss of earnings, which are very important. So thank you very much. Please click on to video 5.